that I've used these absolute guns of arms to get this. You can see this little one is slowing down a little bit. Very nice, very nice. And look at that, boys and girls. Boom. Tamed animal. All right, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Well, guys, the truth is, I kind of messed up with these lizards, but not to worry, I know how we're going to fix it. Now, at this point, you guys probably have some questions like, what lizard am I talking about? What problem? I didn't even know there was a problem. How are you gonna fix it? Why am I even on YouTube when I have so much laundry to do and other chores around the house? And while I can't help you with that last one, don't worry, we're gonna be answering the rest of those questions in this video. Make sure you stick around, you'll probably get some helpful tips out of this one, and subscribe if you're new. Let's get into it. Sure, if you guys are a fan of the channel, you probably already have it figured out in your head. Oh, he's gonna figure out how to fix the problems with Bimson. You know, the giant lizard that took a chunk out of his finger and made it immobile for the most part. And well, truth be told, you probably should be right and I should really fix those issues. Fact of the matter is, I am still terrified of that animal for the damage he did to my finger. Boys and girls, the animal we are gonna be talking about is of course the quince monitor. The quince monitors that I absolutely love. My favorite species of monitor lizard, who for some reason I never talk about on the channel, and there's a good reason for that. Well, that has to do with the title of today's video. I messed up with these lizards, and now these lizards don't like me. They hate me. They run whenever they see me. Except that one. That one's getting a little better. But the other one, you don't see her because, well, she's not around. And now, for a while now, I've truly asked myself for the longest time, why? Why do these lizards hate me? Why does the animal that I love so much and hold so dear to my heart want to see me completely destroyed? And now it's the only way they can get satisfaction. For a while, I didn't have answers to that question until I took a little tour over at New England Reptile. At that point where I met my good buddy Dustin, one of the people that take care of the water monitors over at New England Reptile, and at which point I asked my question, he proceeded to tell me every single thing that I've been doing wrong with these animals for the past two years now, year and a half, somewhere around there. And by God, did I mess up a lot of stuff. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be talking about what all I got wrong and doing it as I educate the public like I was educated by my good friend. Start this video off with problem number one, which is going to be this enclosure right here. I know what you guys are thinking. Well, all the forums and the care guides, everything is say to give them a lot of room, even as babies, so they can explore. And while yes, that is good for the animal, it is not good with building a relationship with the animal. I thought I did right by this enclosure, simply for the fact that this thing is standing at about 6 feet tall, which is taller than me, just barely. I just didn't make that cut of 6 foot, unfortunately, so I'm always gonna be an average beta male and not an alpha chad. Now hang on, I did do something right. This is pretty much the only thing I did right, and that is true. You do want them to be about chest to above eye level with you. However, the mistake I made is the size of this enclosure. This enclosure is massive. This enclosure has a lot of hiding spots on the bottom and a lot of places to get away. And what is an animal going to do when it feels fearful of you? It is going to utilize that. They're gonna simply hide and find those hiding spots and stay there until you go away. That, my friends, and lies the problem right there, is the fact that when this animal feels fearful of us, it is able to escape to a surrounding area where it cannot see us, and that makes it an option. That means at any point in time, this animal does not like me, does not want to see me, it has the ability to not see me. That's exactly what we're gonna be getting rid of today. We're gonna be doing something a little bit like exposure therapy, so this animal can see that I am here at all times. However, I am not a threat. It'll have to be forced to see that although I am a big, strong, muscular man, I'm not a threat to these guys. I actually like them, and truth be told, that is the way that you can tame them out. You can take Kevin McCurley's place, New England Reptile, for a great example. Check out those Asian water monitors. Truth be told, they are some of the most tamed water monitors or monitor lizards out there. Now, how do they do it over at New England Reptile? They do two things. Small enclosures, confined spaces that are also open with zero hiding places, forcing that interaction with the owner, or in their case, the caretaker, to show that people aren't bad. And while I don't have as fancy enclosures as they do, we're gonna be doing something very similar. I'm going to be replicating how they do their designs in this kind of build that I have with the Exoterra right next to me. We're gonna be moving these guys outside of their gigantic enclosure, putting them in a much smaller, sterile space to show them that Dakota is not a bad guy. All I gotta do is move these two boys out of here, move that bad boy over here, and start building it out. And I'm gonna take you on the journey with me. I'm so sorry, but I have to hit at least 10 minutes or else I don't get my ad reels. Let's get into it. Alrighty, now that I've used these absolute guns of arms to get this enclosure over here, next up on the list is going to be getting some decorations in there. We can't just put them in an empty tank and call it a day. No, we have to make it at least somewhat enrichment for them. It's not going to be very enriching because Dakota is the enrichment right here. The negative kind. That then gets turned to a positive. Is that how I'm supposed to do this? And then, boom, that's pretty much all you do, all we're doing for this build. It's a little bit different than from like every other enclosure build I've done. Pretty much you got the water tub, you got some tile. As you can see, I'm not good at measuring dimensions, 18 inch to 10 inches. I don't know why I thought I only needed 3, but hey, we're here and I gotta make a video by whatever day this gets posted, so that's all we're gonna do. See, other than that, we do have the basking stand, elevating it a little bit to make sure we can hit those high basking temperatures. I did make a little bit of a hide so they can feel a little bit more secure. However, that hide is obviously see-through, as you can see right there, so I'm still able to see them while they're down there. We got the background so they can climb a little bit. This background is a little bit dated. You can see it's kind of like all the cocoa's falling off and stuff like that. There's calcium powder on there for some reason. I don't know what happened with that. But this is the enclosure we're gonna do. Other than me probably heading back to Home Depot and buying a couple more of those tiles, this is how it's gonna be. So now we can move on to the fun stuff, is actually taking those lizards out and moving on to the second problem. No, why are you filming this? No, the other transition where we get to see the lizards. Jesus Christ, man. Moving on, let's talk about the second problem I've done with these animals, and that is going to be force handling, making a negative experience with them. Some of these days, you know, we had to move them from different enclosure, it would just kind of be one of those things where I just had to grab them real quick and move them into the next one, and that definitely was the wrong way to go about things. Remember guys, as though popular belief stands that all lizards are dumb, these are not dumb. These are not a dumb lizard. They are very smart, they're intelligent, some more intelligent than others, but quince monitors do have some brains to them. That being said, they do remember bad experiences, and if you only do bad experiences, which in this case moving an animal to another enclosure and then not interacting with it as much as you should, well, that's just gonna make an animal not like you. We're gonna fix that today. I got my gloves on, not because I'm afraid they're gonna bite me, but because their claws are very sharp and I don't want little paper cuts into my palms. And I'm gonna show you guys how to properly open these animals instead of just going like this and grabbing them, because as you can see, as you were jump scared right there, these animals are jump scared IRL. Things first, we open the enclosure. That's a very, very important thing. A little bit lower, kind of out of sight. We don't want to look at the animal. Remember guys, the eyes play a very important role. So all we want to do is go right under the chin. And when you have an animal like this that is just running around sporadic, you don't want to put it right back in the enclosure. That's going to show that as long as it is sporadic, it can get away from you. So all we're going to do is while open palming, we're going to let this guy tucker himself out. So I guess I'll just cut back when he tuckers himself out. For folks, lizards think into different modes. There's hungry mode, there is frantic mode like this, that flight or fright response, and then there is investigation mode. Clear stand of an investigated lizard is one that is not being frantic. As you can see, it's going to be slowing down a little bit. Maybe we put him up in the air a little bit, make him feel a little bit taller than us. And then boom, we're going to start getting those little tail or tongue flicks. Alright, alright. Boom, you see that? We're getting those tongue flicks now. We're getting a little bit easier. This might take 15 minutes, might take 5 seconds, it could take half an hour. We're just gonna keep letting him do his thing until he stops like that. Boom. Folks, at this point, your lizard still can be getting that flighty state. And what you really want to do is never look your lizard in the eye, especially if you have a lizard that is not very tamed, like this one right here. Eyes are the biggest thing that animal will look for. They can see your intent in your eyes, and although your intent is love, they kind of misconstrue that and think it's fear, and so they'll run away from you. So we are not going to look this lizard in the face. Lucky for me, I have a DSLR camera, so I'm just going to look at the LCD screen. Look at that, boys and girls. Boom. Tamed animal. Alright, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Ready, just like this, it's gonna be a 1-2. I was going to investigate his new cage. Oh, I looked him in the eye. You see what happens when you look him in the eye? And here we have quince monitor number 2, what I do believe is a probable female. Now you can see this little one is slowing down a little bit. Very nice, very nice. So we're gonna go ahead and be putting her up right now. And boom, there you got it. You got the sterile enclosure that is going to help tame out your monitor lizards. You can see this little dude's already chilling right here, looking at me, basking on the little basking shelf that I put in there. Absolutely fantastic, boys and girls. The only thing left to do is I do want to cover these 3 sides, the back and then the 2 sides, so they can just see out of the front. However, I don't want to put just some like paper towels or something over it, so I'm just waiting on some. I got some like a 3D printed little thing. It looks cute, whatever. But we're going to be putting on there so then they can only see out here, which they would then see me. Boys and girls, that is going to wrap up this video, but it is going to start a new journey for us, and that journey is going to be taming down the Quince monitors. Finally, the video that I've been meaning to make for years and have had made, but then just kept failing at it. Hopefully this is the last one I make of this kind of like little series. I do really want to get these guys tamed out because this is my favorite monitor species. I would love to have a tame Quince monitor, or in this case, a pair of tame Quince monitors. As always, folks, thank you so much for taking the time in your day to follow us over here at Dakota Blue Exotics. If you like me as a creator and want to help me pursue these dreams of mine and keep making the amazing content that I make, consider joining us on Patreon. The link's down there with a bunch of other cool stuff down in the description. So with every one of these things that I make, thank you guys so much. I will see you next time, but until then, goodbye.